Hi guys, this is Heather with the Pot Genie, and this is a quick video that discusses how to plan out your writing. And when I talk about this, what I'm really trying to talk about is I'm not saying what's going to happen in your chapters. I'm not saying what are your characters going to be like or what is your rising action or what is your theme. None of that. What I'm actually talking about is the logistics of your book. So for me, I like to know how long my book is going to be before I even start it. A lot of this goes into genre expectations. So my first tip for this is to know your genre. If you're in something as subjective as contemporary romance, you could have a 20,000 word novella or an 80 to 100,000 word novel. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you kind of get over 100,000, I would say you're kind of pushing the genre expectations just a little bit. But you have like a huge range of where you can fall into that. Epic fantasy, you're going to want it to be longer, although I feel indies can kind of get away with shorter books just depending on if the story calls for it. So, know your genre and know how many words you want to have in your book. Because this is going to help you figure out, okay, how long is it going to take me to write this book? How can I schedule this book in my writing time? And if you need to figure out how to create your own writing schedule, I have a video on that. Feel free to check that out at your convenience if it's something that you think might be interesting. So to go back to the topic at hand, I like to know, okay, how long do I want this book to be? From there, I can break down how many chapters it's going to be. So let's say I am writing a book in my Vampire Pirate Saga sequel, and I know that that's going to be 75,000 words. Essentially, it's a paranormal fantasy, and that means that, okay, great, I can divide that by 30 and I get 2,500 words. So if I wanted to write 30 chapters, in order to craft an outline, I know that each chapter has to have 2,500 words, and as long as I hit each target for that, I will hit my 75,000 word target. Perfect. So why are these things important? Shouldn't we just write because we want to write, or we should write because that's what it, shouldn't we just let the story tell us when it ends? And we see this a lot, especially in traditional published books. If you read on a Kindle, you can see that some chapters are 3 minutes to read, some chapters are 22 minutes to read, some chapters are in between. And it's kind of, the pacing is kind of all over the place. Now, a con to this method is essentially pacing, because if you want things to rush, you might have shorter chapters in order to enhance that pace, essentially. But for me, I kind of like knowing exactly how many words I'm going to hit. I like the structure of it, the logistics of it, and I like that every chapter is relatively the same length. And so if I'm a reader, I like kind of knowing, it's like planning my reading time. Okay, if every chapter is 7 minutes, then I know that I can fit in this many minutes before my kid comes out of school or something like that. But on top of this, knowing these things about the book that you're writing, it's going to help you with a writing schedule. And what I mean by this is if you know that each chapter that you're writing is 2,500 words, and you have 2 hours in your day to write Monday through Friday, and you know that you have 30 chapters, you could essentially write this book in 5 weeks. And that will give you a time frame of, now you can start planning, okay, when can I send this to my editor? When can I edit it myself? When can I send it to reviewers? When can I put it up for pre-order? All of that. And that's what I do. It sets the foundation for the marketing plan or the publishing plan, the plan that comes after the writing, and the writing plan. Knowing these simple things. How long is my book? How long are the chapters? How many words per chapter? And then look at my writing schedule and be like, how many words can I write per day based on my writing schedule that I have right now? So essentially, I'm planning out my next month or my next 2 months or however long it's going to take me to write this book. And on top of that, if I want to utilize a strategy like rapid releasing, I can be like, okay, well, based on these numbers, based on what I know, I can now take 3 months to write this trilogy, start editing book 1 while I write book 2, and blah, 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 so that by the second quarter of the year, I can start rapid releasing them, or whatever, however you choose to do your own schedule. So this is why I like to break things down, maybe sometimes too much depending on what your opinion is of that. But for me, it helps me figure out the future, sort of like the long-term goal for the book by setting the foundation now. And each step builds on the other. So if I have that foundation, I can now plan out my writing schedule, and then I can plan out my editing schedule, and then I can plan out, the promotion, like booking promotions and getting betas involved and getting editors involved and even cover designers. And then I can plan the publishing, and that is entwined with the marketing. So having the foundation is very, very important to me, but it's not going to be important to everybody. Sometimes people don't know how many words their book's going to be, or they say, well, it was going to be 80,000 and then it just ballooned up to 120 or whatever. And that happens. I'm very particular with how I write. If I say 2,500 words, I might go 25.5. I might go, maybe like 2,450, depending on everything, as long as that end word count is 75,000 words. It doesn't need to be exact for me, but I get to retain a little bit more control over the story. And it helps my pacing, to be honest with you. So let me know in the comments, do you like to plan out your word count? Do you like to plan out that sort of thing? Or do you just kind of go with it and see where the story takes you? And are you an overwriter or are you an underwriter? Do you write too much? Do you write not enough? Or do you write exactly what you set out to write, which is kind of what I do. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you so much for being with me. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I post videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday, and I would have loved to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this video helped, or at least explain why it might be good to at least consider starting to build your foundation from that point. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.